TED 2012. I received a comment a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago by a John Carr who asked if I would review this particular film, Ted. And I saw it back in 2012 when it was made. I thought I'd see if it was available on streaming, but I couldn't find it. It isn't available to me at present. But I've watched a trailer and a few clips that I found on the internet, an assortment of other material from YouTube, just to refresh my mind about the story so I can give this review. I was thinking of looking up my original review of this film, but I haven't yet. I could always do that if I do a Kelly Seconds review at some point, hopefully after actually watching the film. So, this genre is fantasy comedy, and I guess it's a fantasy because it's a what if story. The premise is a young John Bennett wishes that his Teddy could really talk to him. And then one night he actually does. And this is all back in 1985, so the same year as Back to the Future. But we now have a thought experiment because we go forward 27 years to 2012, and we have the adult John Bennett, played by Mark Wahlberg, and he's still talking with his Teddy. And his Teddy is vocalized by Seth MacFarlane, but I imagine, would it be CGI or animatronics? I don't suppose it would be AI generated in 2012. But the, this Teddy is now all grown up, just the same as his human companion, and his name is Ted, all stylized in lowercase. And they've moved from a small town in Massachusetts to Boston. So they live in this apartment, and John is smoking bongs and uh, so is Ted, and they're having adult conversations, and it is almost like just two blokes having a conversation, having the type of chat that you expect male bonded men to have. Um, there's a sort of level of codependency. By that I mean there's a sort of possessive rivalry over John's girlfriend, Laurie, who's played by Mila Kunis. Um, she's so Laurie is John's girlfriend, and she sees Ted as an obstacle. And this film is portrayed totally from the male point of view, with that kind of humor. I mean, there's like Ted invites round sex workers. And this is one of the most, to me, it's the most cringy scene out of the clips I found. Um, I mean, it's like he's got four sex workers in John's apartment, and then Laurie and John turn up, open the door, they come back early, and Ted is surprised because he wasn't expecting them. And he introduces them to the four of them and their names and everything. Oh, it's kind of just like, I don't know. Um, but then there's another scene in which Ted's got a girlfriend, and he asks John to guess guess his girlfriend's name, and it's oh, what is it? It's a bit like a trashy name. It's a sort of like the American equivalent of classism. So it's all um, looking down on particular names, or at least that's how I interpret the jokes. It's like John reels off, starts reeling off a few names, and then decides to do it at speed, so he can go through a whole pile of names, and that's where the humor is. And it kind of is funny, and yet you know, I mean, the names, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I don't like punching down, so that's why I don't find it particularly funny. And especially now, the humor's got it's got more anti lots of groups, and I don't know if I mean, because I haven't seen this film, I don't know what the attitudes were. I know there's a lot of what's described now probably as anti-woke or anti-PC, politically incorrect, that kind of thing. And I don't know because I remember one or two things from TED 2, like the kind of jokes you can't tell. There was like asking a comedian to tell jokes that you can't tell these days. And there was some it was made humorous, but it was almost made humorous because they were like jokes you just couldn't tell. So it was the discomfort on the face of the comedian that made it funny, if you see what I mean. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. It's kind of clever on one level. I don't know. But most of the humour that I really liked was the fact that Ted is a small Teddy, and there's all this slapstick humour. There's like he can fight really. He will actually give John a right pummeling. He will actually really hit him, and that looks so ludicrous, but it's really funny. I think I would like to see, Ted 2 as well because I was thinking it'd be quite interesting to review that, but I'll probably have to see both films at some point to decide on this. But he's also, like, driving, there's, like because he's like this, one clip that's called "Wake and Bake," and it's like you're there, um smoking, they're partaking in marijuana out of bongs, and uh, John decides that he needs to get to work for 9:30. He's late, arrives at 10, but he's not sure he can drive. So Ted, who's also been on the bong, drives him there, and he can hardly see over the driving wheel, and he's got these blocks so that he can reach the accelerator and the brake. And I don't think there's any scenes where they get pulled up by the cops at any point, but just the fact that he manages. Oh, there is one. I mean, what happens you see in the trailer is him crashing into a car when he parks up at John's workplace. So he like really scratches up this car really badly, and then carries on, and John is uncomfortable about it. Um, Ted, like, says, "Oh, it's my bad, I was sending a tweet." And I don't know, it's just like I get where all the humour's coming from, and I can see why it's funny. Um, oh, and then there's scenes where, the guys gang up on Laurie because they've got this, humour about, um no, but I don't think I'm, giving spoilers. I don't know, I can't actually remember how it ends, but there's, like this is one more scene that I will cover since I've seen it as a clip, where, John and Ted say to they're talking about drinks, but with ski at the end, sort of to make brewski, brewski for you ski is sort of rules of attraction um, reference. I remember. I'm thinking about rules of attraction because there's like bonking teddy bears in the some of the promotional material for that, and Ted also does that when he's like going after trying to impress his the girl he wants to go out with, the woman he wants to go out with. But oh yeah, so Laurie um says that she makes up a particular um drink, like martini thing, and references it with an actual person with a similar name to that. And John and Ted say they gang off on her, saying that oh no, it doesn't count as humour because it doesn't end in a ski. So they're sort of explaining the humour, and it's kind of like it's more the fact that they're inferring that um, Laurie's not funny because she's a woman. Oh, there's that sort of low level. I think it's low level everyday sexism style. Uh, lack of, the humour doesn't fit in. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly, but that's how it comes across. And it reminded me of a couple of years into when I was in my early days of working, and some of my colleagues were making this sort of underground publication. I mean, it was in the early days of using Word, and we could actually create these magazines that we could replicate. And I put in a load of jokes, and most of my jokes were just um, disallowed. And it was like, no, women aren't funny. That was the sort of message that these lads had. And on one level, I got it, and on another, it felt really unfair because they wouldn't let me choose the character I wanted to be when we were having the particular team name that we were on as if it was a movie. So we had a cast of thousands where all of us were played by actors from the real film world, as if they were playing us. So that's where all the humour was. But the character they picked for me was uh, the someone totally unglamorous from Coronation Street, and absolutely hated that. But that was their humour against me because my reaction, I was so upset that they enjoyed it more. If I'd just rolled with it, um, they'd have probably let me choose a name. But because I reacted the way I reacted, so there's all that sort of stuff, and um, there's that sort of I don't know, battle with the sexist type humor, which happens a lot, and I don't know. I don't know. You know, when I see it in a film like this, I get it. I don't know really what to make of it. I mean, it's there. This is like 13 years ago. I feel it might have dated a bit since then. But I don't know. I've only got my opinion on this, and I'd really be interested to know what other people think. So, some of it's a little bit cringe, but a lot of it, out of what I've seen from the refresher clips and trailer, I still found funny. I'm going to score it 7.5 out of 10. Love to know what you think about this. Um, please like if you like this review. Please tell me what I've got right, what I've got wrong from your point of view, if you think if you have anything to contribute. And, um, yeah, thanks for subscribing. Please hit the notification button, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.